Hey everybody, today I thought I would create a character selection screen tutorial. What this is a screen in which the player gets to select their own character to play with. You can toggle between two different characters, but in this tutorial I'm going to teach you how to make a character selection screen in which you can choose between at least 3 different characters. And if you want to, you can increase that amount, but in this example you can see that there's only 2. You can toggle through them by pressing the directional buttons on your controller, and then if you want to select a character you just press start, and it says would you like to choose this character, and you can you have a choice between yes and no, and that's basically it. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. I'm going to load up a game. The first step is to create a dungeon or a map, which is something that I've already done off camera. So make sure you create a dungeon. I've already created this one called Sims. And then the next step is to create an object placement so you can put in your own decorations. And I've already done that, and I called it Sims. And then the next step is to create an event placement for your dungeon, and I've done that too. And then finally, you create a world organization to put all those things together, which is something I've done too. And this is what it looks like. If I go to the view, it's a replica of the Sims character creation screen. The only thing it's missing is a circular rug, which goes right here, but oh well. I didn't create that, so. Okay, so the next step after you've done all that is to create a variable. So in order to do that, go to Game Settings, go to the Custom tab, and then go to Variable, find an available slot like 251, and then let's give it a name, call it character model. And then we're going to create an input. Now this is optional, you don't need this, but if you're planning on including the name of the character in dialogue, I recommend doing this because this is the only way to do it, is to create an input. So find an available slot like this one and call it name. If you don't know already, an input is a lot like a variable. A variable is something that saves a value, a number, or an integer, but an input saves strings of text. So whatever the player puts in, like for example the name Bob, then Bob would be saved as name, so name would be equal to Bob. The next step is to create your very own party members, so go ahead and do that. I'm going to use these preset party members just to save time, but if you want to, you can create your own. And the next step is to create a visual effect. This is optional, you don't need this, but I'm just doing it for fun. And you can copy me if you want. This is going to be text. Character. I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to go down to New Element, Text. It's going to be a 2D setup. Right here where it says text, I'm going to paste that and then put in some spaces. It says select a character, and right here where it says frame number 0, I'm going to scale it down so it'll fit the screen a little bit better so you can see it. And I'm going to move it up here, and I'm going to copy that frame and paste it on frame 20 and 40. And then I'm gonna go back to 20 and scale it down just a little bit. Like, not too much. Like there. Okay. Right here where it says 299, I'm gonna move it down to 40 because that's how long the animation is going to be. If I go to the view and press play, you can see the animation. So you can see what I did. And save that. Okay, now we have to create an event, so go to Scripts, Events, create new data, and call this character. This event is going to represent the character. And the model is going to be the very first character that shows up on screen, whatever that may be. In this case, it's going to be Verk, and the model is Soldier Male. So that little guy right there is Verk, or that's what the model represents anyway. He's going to be the first character, and we'll save that. Now we're going to create our very own script. So go to Scripts, and call it Enter. I'm gonna call it Enter Sims because Sims is the name of the world that I created. So you can call it Enter and then whatever the name of your dungeon is. And the first line of code is going to be a screen effect. It's going to be pitch black. And save that. I'm going to copy this and paste it right under. And the transparency is going to be at 100% at about 30 frames. 30 frames is approximately 1 second in RPG Maker 2. Approximately, not exactly. I'm actually not sure how long a second is in this game. Could be 24 frames, I'm not sure though. So right in between, go to Party, Display, Party, Hide. Now what I'm going to do is play around with the camera. This is optional, you don't need this, but just for the sake of making this a little bit more interesting, I'm going to do some camera stuff. It's not going to animate, it's just going to be static, but I want the static to be in a very excuse me, a very specific location. So in order to do that, I need to mess around with the camera a bit. Let's see, viewpoint height 16. There we go. I'm going to change the event control to the event that we created called character. And let's see. Event effects motion change weight at about 60, I would say. So it's changing the character is going to weight. And okay, next line of code. At the very bottom here, we're going to go to Script, Apply Together, and then we're going to go to Screen Display, Effects, Party. And choose the select character visual effect that you created, and it's going to repeat indefinitely, so the repeat is going to be at 0. And let's see, we're going to make a repeating branch. I'm going to put a divider here just for the sake of clarity, because this script is going to be pretty long. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be long. Let's make a repeating branch, so go to Script Branch Repeat, and you can leave it as it is, flag off equals off. That's fine. And then right in the middle of this, we're going to go to Input Creation, Buttons, Constant Wait. So what that does is it waits for the player to press a button. And then, let's see, script branch condition, variable, user button equals 3. 3 is equal to the right directional button. And the reason why I know that is because you can go up here and press start, and it'll tell you the values, what they mean. You can see that 0 is the up directional button, and 1 is the down button, 2 is the left button, and 3 is the right button. So when the player presses the right directional button on their controller, something is going to happen. We have to tell it what will happen when they press that button. The thing that will happen is, if we go to data, variable, and then select the variable we created called character model, it's going to be equal to itself plus 1, plus 1. Okay. And then after that, there's going to be another condition that says if character model equals 3, then copy this right here where it says data variable character model and paste it right where this condition is. And instead of 1, it's going to be set at 0. Okay. I'm going to put another divider here. We're going to need this divider. Put it right. This branch end right here, that's the repeating branch. And this condition end is this right here, this whole thing. So the reason why I'm putting this divider here is because we're going to copy this right here. Right after where it says input buttons constant wait, copy that whole thing and paste it right here, right after none. In fact, I'm going to put another divider and paste it right between the two dividers. I'm going to change the values so that user button equals, instead of 3, it's going to be 2. 2 is the left directional button on your controller, so if they press the left button, then it's going to do the exact opposite. So instead of adding 1, it's going to subtract. And then the condition character model equals -1 because you're subtracting, so you know you're eventually going to get into the negatives. So if you're in the negatives, then character model is going to equal 2. Okay. Now we are going to copy this condition right here and paste it right here, right after the divider, right before the script branch end. We're still inside of the repeating branch, so don't forget about that. Now, if we edit this, change user button to 8. 8 is the start button on your controller. So if the player presses the start button, then screen display, text message, choose this character. That's what it's going to say. Choose. Oops. And then unselect or deselect this right here, or uncheck it, I mean, because we want the text message to stay on the screen. And then input, creation, multiple choice. There's going to be 2 choices. And the first choice is going to be no. And the reason why is because by default, the cursor is going to stick to the first choice, and you don't want the player to accidentally choose a character that they didn't want in the first place, because that's really frustrating. So I always make the first choice no, just in case they accidentally slip their fingers. And you know, I've done that before a couple of times while playing video games, so I know how it is. This screen location is a representation of where the multiple choice appears on the screen. You can move it wherever you want. I recommend to not put it down here because this is where the message box is going to be, or the message box. So I like to put it like right above it, like there, on the right side. You can move it to left or right, it doesn't really matter, as long as it's not like down here, because that would be bad. Okay, so when you do that, it creates two conditions. You can see there's two. It says user choice equals 1 and user choice equals 2. So 1 is when they select no as their choice, and 2 is when they select yes. So if they choose no, then this is what happens. Screen display, text, close message window. So this window right here, choose this character, goes away. And then script, script branch to top. And what that does is it takes them back up to the repeating branch up here, right here, which is pretty handy. So that's about it. This is when they select no. We're done with that. Now, if they select yes, then it's going to close the message window, and it's going to clear all effects. So screen display, effects, clear all effects. And what that does is it clears the visual effect that we have on the screen, the one that says select a character, the one that we created in the visual effects editor. And let's see, we're gonna do another message box that says, what is your name? So the player gets to punch in their name. What is your name? And then deselect this because we want it to stay on screen. And we're going to go to input creation, text. The amount can be any amount that you want. I recommend going for about 8 to 10 characters long, because if you go up to the full 15, it gets difficult to include the name of the character in dialogue because the name is too long. So I would go about 8, but it's up to you, it doesn't really matter too much. And the default text is optional, you don't really need it, but this is what shows up by default, so I could say Leo or whatever. Okay, and then this is also optional, you don't need this, but the name is going to be equal to the input that the player just put in to the game. Like if they type in Bob, which is the input, then name is going to be equal to Bob. And the reason why we do this is so that we can save the name just in case we need it for dialogue. Just in case, like if an NPC talks to you and says, oh hey, it's Leah. It's Leah. I actually have a cousin named Leah. Which is, yeah. Okay, and the next thing is go to Party, Teleport, Warp. It doesn't matter where you warp them. I'm just gonna warp them to town. You can warp them wherever you want, wherever the game starts. So we're almost done with the script. We just need to do a couple more things. Let's save what we have and create another script. And let's see, I'm gonna call this character model. And let's see, condition. If variable character model equals 0. So if character model is 0, then the event effects model is going to change to Verk, which is the soldier male. That's the first character that shows up. I'm going to copy this whole thing and paste it down here and change the value so that instead of it being 0, it's going to be 1. And the second character is Valerie, which is a soldier female, I believe. Copy this, paste it down, change the value to 2. This is going to be the third character that appears. Brya, I think, is the third one, so fighter female. And we're done with that. Save it. Create a new script. This is going to be the last script that we create in this tutorial. And we're going to call this add character. And let's see. It's going to be a condition, so if character model equals 1, we're going to skip 0 because Verk is by default already in the party, so we don't even have to check to see if the player chose Verk. Does that make any sense? Because Verk is already in the party by default, so we don't even have to check that. So if they choose Valerie as their character, then it's going to add her in the party. So go to Party, Members, Change, Add Valerie. And then it's going to copy this. It's going to remove Verk. Since Verk by default is in the party, we have to remove him because the player did not choose Verk in this instance. We can copy this whole thing and paste it down here. And instead of character model equals 1, it's going to be character model equals 2. And character model 2 is Brya. So if the player chooses Brya as their character, then it's going to add Brya in the party and remove Verk, because Verk is already in the party. Save that. Go back to the enter sims script, or whatever you named it, enter script. And at the very bottom, right before they warp... Oh, I'm sorry, there's one more thing. I forgot one more thing. Let's go back. Sorry about that. Go to the add character script, and at the very bottom, go to party, display party hide. The reason why we do that is because for some reason, when you add a party member, that party member shows up despite the fact that you put hide party in the script. Like in this script right here, at the very top, we told the script to hide the party. Where is it? Here it is, hide party. But when we add a new character to the party, for some reason it disregards that. And it creates graphical glitches, which is a bad thing, so we want to hide the party. Okay, so after you put that hide party thing in the script, go back to your enter script. Go down here right before they teleport. Go to script, call script, add character. That's good. And then right here, we're inside of this condition, but we're outside of this condition, like right here. We're gonna call character model like that. And we're gonna do the same for this chunk of code. So every time they press the either the left directional button or the right directional button on their controller, the character model is going to update, so it's going to change. And that's what it's doing here. And we're done with the script, so that's pretty simple, I think. Let's see, what do we need to do now? We need to place the event. Go to Scripts, Event Placement, and then go to the event placement that you created. I created mine off camera, as you know. And place the character right where you want the character to appear. So I think right in front of the mirror is a good spot. And then place the you can see I have Verk in my party by default, so make sure that you have somebody in your party by default, the first character. Okay, so the location, the starting location, I have it in Sims. You can see that I placed the character right where I have the event, exactly on, like right on top of the event. And the reason why is because I want the camera to be focused on that point. So that's an ideal spot to place the character. And I think we're pretty much done. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Let's go ahead and test it and see if it works. Oh wait, we're not done. What am I thinking? I did skip one step, and that was to, or two steps actually. Go to Scripts, Events, and create an event called Enter. Whatever the name of the script was. The name of my script is called Enter Sims, so that's what I'm going to call this. And then the type is going to be a system. It's a system event, and the apply is going to be the script called Enter Sims. Update that. Now that we have our system event, we can apply it to our world organization. Go to the Script tab, and then right here where it says Enter Map, select the event, system event called Enter Sims. And there, now we're done. Now let's test it to see if it works. I'm crossing my fingers here. And that pretty much works, I think. I'm gonna choose Briya. Alright, it works. So thank you for watching and thank you for subscribing. I look forward to seeing you another time. Goodbye. Okay, so there's one thing I should probably mention, is that if you go to Scripts and go to Character Model, at the very end I put in this line of code that just says Event Effects Motion Change, and the action is weight and the speed is 60. The reason why I did that is because for some reason the model is walking in place, and I don't want them to walk in place. I want them to stand still. So in order to do that, I had to put this in. So make sure to do that. Go back to the character model script and put that in at the very end. And they should stand still. I'm gonna test it out to see if it works. And look at that.